Hey guys, this is going to be Hunter the Wolf, one of my first recordings since my super hot video that I did, let's see, several years ago at this point. Never intended to do anything on YouTube, but I figured due to Addie, who is running her own series right here, and I've been a part of it for, I'm not even
Almost
gonna
like
try,
a
not even gonna
like half a
try.
Few
year. I
months.
can't remember.
Since, like, what season? Like, maybe season 2?
Let's see.
Or was it
Just
around the
probably
end
around
of season
season.
1?
I think it was probably around the season one. I think.
Yes, around season 1.
Okay. So I've been with her for a pretty decent bit because we're on season 5 or 6 now, aren't we?
Yeah, somewhere around there. Somewhere around there.
But I figured for those who may care, there's a lot of people who probably look at me and really couldn't give a rat's ass. I'm going to just say that right now. But for those who do care, because I know I've been keeping them all in the shadows, including others that aren't even here yet. But that is the entire background on who Hunter is, how I even came up with the character, and his actual journey throughout, not just the journey through her series, but the journey through his actual life. Now, I think very first place I should start off with is why Hunter exists. And really, Hunter is a character that was never really made to exist, if not for an old friend of mine that I unfortunately no longer talk to, family issues, just a whole different scenario I shall not get into. But he is the reason why I have Hunter as a character. He suggested I make a character that represents myself as a person, and so I made Hunter. Now, based on VR chat, this is the closest thing I can basically get without having to do model making to my character. Now, somewhere I may actually show a picture of what my character is supposed to look like. I don't know. I'll have to remember to do so. But Hunter was created, I think, around 2018. I think. 2018, I think, was when I first made Hunter. But Hunter is essentially a character that's supposed to be specifically based off of experiences I may and may not, but definitely not. But most of the stories I tell about Hunter are based off of things that I have personally either went through or have experience with. So I feel I would have told them a long time ago of exactly what got me to make Hunter and his actual background, but that just I didn't know really how to put it. But I feel now is the time to get it off my chest. Hunter as a character is not supposed to be is viewed as a violent, overly aggressive person like I've shown him to be in the series. That is just my way of that's my attitude as a person kind of coming out rather than showing more towards the character. Hunter is I wouldn't call him a pacifist, but Hunter I wouldn't say lives by a code, but he goes by a rule that he doesn't like to kill unless he views it to be absolutely mandatory, which has obviously not been followed during the series because I've had my moments of outlash. And I take blame for that. But Hunter as a character is not overly violent unless given the chance. But again, you can take that as you will. It's 50-50. But when I first made Hunter, it was never supposed to be anything serious. Again, at the time, I had probably closer to 20 other characters that I was using, and Hunter I figured would just be a one-time thing, and I would just push him to the side. But it got to the point where, after losing my friend, Hunter became the only avatar or only character I really use. Now, Shatter is not my character. I'm just going to point this out. Shatter is my friend's character that I used to talk to, but I keep Shatter in memory because to me, despite the issues that I have with his family and vice versa, he and I are still viewed as brothers to each other. Now, I did have to help him redesign Shatter. He wanted a redesign, so I helped do the drawing to redesign his character. But other than that, that's about the most I can take credit for Shatter as a character. The only difference between Hunter and Shatter is that Shatter is not legally mine. Shatter is a friend's character that I have been allowed to borrow ever, before we stopped talking. And I'm sure my friend doesn't even realize because I haven't talked to him in about a year or two. But I still try to use Shatter because it's about the only thing I have left to remember him by. So that's why Shatter and Hunter, they may not get along most of the time, which again, that's a bit more of Hunter's personality and Shatter's personality being very different in terms of who they are as a person. Shatter represents my friend as a person, Hunter represents me as a person. So, Crystal is my character, but it's not a character I just pulled out of thin air. And it also goes a bit more into the backstory of Hunter, especially with the most recent episode, which was not really intended because I was not aware that this was going to be happening. But in her most recent episode, which she has not, she's had her own stress. She has not had the chance to post the new content. We've got it all on backline. She's been busy with her school. But so spoilers, not for those who care. Spoilers. We go to the future timeline to find out that
Mhm.
Hunter's sister in the future was killed, which is kind of ironic because about 4 to 5 years ago, my sister was killed. And that's where not only the character design comes from, but the name. Crystal was my big sister that I lost because of drug addiction. So I didn't want to say anything during the video. I didn't want to, put that stress on any of you guys. I'm just going to say that right now. But it kind of
It's
made me
fine.
bring up a few things that
Okay.
I didn't want to cause any drama.
It's
And
fine.
But
also, Hunter, I got a quick question after you
yeah,
explain. Was the first Karen's was your avatar like Hunter was it in season 1 episode 5 when it was like the other Connor, like his demon side, and the you playing
I
as
believe so. I could be mistaken, but I believe so.
because
But
you
yeah, because that was when we were in the one world. It was like a floating island. There were stars in the background,
yes
and I was just in against the
yes
wall. Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
and you'd changed into a moon version.
God, I remember having that avatar. But anyway, we're getting off track. So
Yeah, so
So the thing is, Shatter to me, we're brothers, mainly because of friends. Crystal is based off of a real person. And for those who do not know, the avatar that was given to me in Tyler's series, aka Tyler Sunset, the human variation, has something that is also based off of real life, and I was hesitant on even having it added, which is the dog. I don't know if you guys. Hang on. Let me see if I can get another mirror active real quick.
it
Hang on.
would be better if you use your camera because mirror doesn't connect with mirror.
Gee, no shit, Sherlock.
I'm sorry.
You're right. Hang on. Uh, camera. Let's see. This guy on my back here is based off of a real dog that I had. Obviously, not completely in appearance, but it was the best he could do. He was still relatively new to model making. This is a dog that I had recently lost just last year, around 5 days before my birthday. This is Romeo. He was one of my favorite dogs, and I had lost him suddenly with no given traces at a young age. At the ripe age of around 6, 7, 8 tops. So, I've had a lot on my mind when it comes to not only having this happen, but a lot in my life in general, as I'm still dealing with a transfer phase of moving out of my old house and into a new one. So I'm still going through a transfer period where I'm trying to get used to a schedule, where I'm currently working a part-time job to try and get some sort of money going. But to get this started, Hunter is so Hunter as a character is a misunderstood character. And I've even had people, not specifically you, I've had other people, whether it be Discord or vice versa from other role plays I did in the past, where Hunter would actually get abused due to either his appearance or his nature, which is being a demon. Because Hunter, in this case scenario, is a demigod who was corrupted. Now, you'd see in her series, whenever she gets the chance, no rush, eventually you will see that Hunter has been going through character progression, at least a minor bit, because I didn't have a good way of explaining the character fully without it taking too much time, which is why I'm doing my own series on it. So, Hunter is a corrupted character who is trying to redeem for his past sins with which he really had no control over. Whether it was being raised and abused in hell, having his demonic nature forced out of him to do basically whatever was told of him, and much more gruesome details that maybe someday, if I don't get demonetized, because I could tell you if I tried saying after things that happened to him, it wouldn't go well. But the majority of what happened is that, and again, why this avatar is not perfect, and why I'm still working on a few images of what his actual body would look like, whether it's the future version or his present version. Either way, both versions of Hunter are actually legally blind in their right eye, which is also why this eye is covered. It was not intended, but Hunter is half blind. And this was something that happened to him while he was still relatively young in his teenage years. But Hunter was known for getting into a lot of fights, whether it was standing up for himself, which never worked out due to the nature that he was in. So it never worked out. Hunter was punished, abused, and then sent back through more vigorous and painful training to essentially try to get his act together to realize who he is. But Hunter kept trying to deny it. And obviously, that doesn't get you far, considering Hunter was in hell for at least half of his life. Now, it got to a point where Hunter was able to finally escape from his hell, even though it was a temporary escape. It gave him a chance to really see others in life. But due to the nature of being a demon, he ended up getting brutally attacked in the surface world and not just hell for being viewed as a demon.
Okay, I shall be right back.
But Hunter at the time did not want to cause any issues, so he simply just dealt with it. He simply dealt with it and he just moved on, but it got to a point where he couldn't handle it, and Hunter, after after at least a year of being in the surface, ended up going into hiding from both hell from finding him, as well as the surface. But the majority of the damage that had been done, not besides the physical damage, which is the scar on his right eye, several scars and slashes on his chest, arms, and legs, as well as further damage, that some of the damage is still permanent because it was unable to be healed. But Hunter, after a year of going into hiding, maybe about 3 to 4 months after he had went into hiding, he was found. He was dragged back to hell, where they were so furious with him. Keep in mind, at this point in time, he's about 15, maybe 16 years old. He's already well past puberty, and he's in his teenage years. Hunter is then forced to do the one decision that arguably ruined his life until the day we were able to redeem him in her series, which was the forced invasion of heaven. Hunter, as a character, was not in control. He was simply in the back seat watching all this happen, and he wasn't even able to stop any of it. He ended up wiping out half of Heaven's army, several of the gods that were dealing with it, similar to a Kratos Olympus situation. And the only person who was anywhere near capable of stopping him at the time was his own sister, Crystal. Crystal being basically God's first in command. So,
hello, Tyler.
Hey, Tyler, I was actually mentioning you not too long ago, but anyway. So, put it this way. Crystal was the only one to stop Hunter from essentially ruining all of heaven at the
He's
time.
right now recording.
Yes, I'm in the middle of the recording. I'm explaining everything. Also, yes, that for anyone who does watch Tyler Sunset's channel, that is going to be a spoiler warning for one of his new characters he is bringing into the series.
Trust
Eventually.
me, I'll do that during season 2. Don't worry. It's
But getting back on track, so Hunter was essentially forced to destroy half of heaven, and he had no say in it. After this moment, only two people realized what it was actually happening. God already made his decision and casted judgment upon Hunter, which in this case was not a smiting, but was more an ever-ending death curse, which is also, well, it's not fully related to real life. Tyler has already been told this. He's the only person who does know this.
Exactly.
But Hunter's heart virus that was given from the gods himself was based off of something that I somewhat experienced in real life. Not to the extreme degree that Hunter's was, but somewhat similar concept that I had no control over, didn't know how to fully stop it, and it simply just didn't go away. Luckily, I no longer experience the issues nowadays. It is fully gone from my system at this point. But when I was about maybe 15, 16 years old, whenever I had too much sugar, and I don't know if this has ever happened to anybody else, or if this is just a me thing. Whenever I would have too much sugar, let's say if I went over 1 can of soda a day, I would go through the most severe chest pains to the point where it would bring me to my knees every single day it happened. And that is somewhat based off of what Hunter's heart virus was, except Hunter's heart virus was lethal. Luckily, I'm still here, and I'm grateful for that. I've had my moments of depression with my past and with everything that has happened up until this point, but I am simply just trying my best to move on as best as I can. But Hunter's virus was given to him about not even a week after the attack, But two people already knew something wasn't right the moment the attack had occurred, but God didn't want to take chances. And that was number one, Crystal, his own sister, and obviously Hunter's younger brother, Shatter. Both of them knew Hunter's energy when they sensed it, and they felt something was off with the energy. So they already knew something wasn't right, but God wasn't taking chances. And personally, at the time, when Hunter was given the curse, he was upset, but he understood why. Even though he wasn't in control, God wouldn't have known that, and he's not going to take a chance of it happening again. So Hunter already perfectly understood and was even willing to accept that it would never go away. Meaning Hunter, about every 2 years, was going to essentially die of a heart virus that was slowly getting more and more painful with each passing day, and would just get revived. And Hunter experienced this all the way until the age of 25. So he was about 16, 17 potentially when he attacked Heaven, and he ended up having the heart virus all the way for about 8 years before. And again, in her series, we were able to have it removed in one of the episodes. But even then, it was a questionable move, and I'm sure if we were to ever get back to that explanation, it would be a long story. But Hunter, as a character, has gone through things that a lot of people don't really want to know, and I'm not going to. I've already said the majority of what Hunter's past was like, which is abuse, torture, never-ending pain, and a cycle that if he did something out of pocket or out of line or anything that was against command, he was punished, whether it was himself or any of the few friends he had made in hell. But that's beside the point. After he got out of hell, and he was living with the heart virus, the first year of the heart virus, he was able to put up with it enough to act like nothing was wrong. During that time period, Hunter would meet up with his first girlfriend, which Hunter still cares about and still remembers, because to this day, Hunter is still looking for her killer. And it's still, he doesn't mention it, but he's still looking. But his first girlfriend, which I never really came up with a name, because it reminds me of an old girlfriend that I had that I do not talk about. That me and her got together 2 times, and both of the times she ended up breaking up with me for either the dumbest reason or just ghosted me. And it's not like we had just barely met. We had known each other for about a couple months. So it just kind of came out of the blue, and it just kind of caught me off guard. But that's a different story. But after a few months, again, Hunter had to go into hiding from hell to not get caught again. And he is still living in the home that Hunter has to this day, of which I will take us to here in a few minutes if someone can stop trying to kill each other. But
You started it. I was just only dancing.
You did a
now,
dance first.
children,
I just
shut
didn't
up a
stop.
second.
I
I'll
was
deal
only
with you two in a
dancing. It
second.
wasn't that bad.
But anyway, so Hunter, as hell was finally in the backseat until he was able to, I wouldn't say patch things up. That's definitely not the right word choice. But it got to the point where Hunter was powerful enough that no one could really do anything about him going there. And he was able to leave whenever he wanted, because again, he was too powerful enough for them to do anything. So, Hunter, during this period, after everything, Hunter wanted to turn his life around, and the first thing he did, he wanted to get himself into proper shape. Hunter was in good shape, don't get me wrong, he was in solid shape, but Hunter wanted to be in good enough condition to actually protect himself on a daily basis because of the fact that people always seem to have were trying to hunt him. No pun intended. But Hunter got into shape, and the way he did this, he was doing his own workout routines at his house, or he would go, obviously disguised, he would wear a hoodie and hide anything that would show who he was. So he had to go out into the world in hiding just to not get attacked. And this was a daily thing. Nowadays, it's not that bad because due to spending time with them, people have started to see Hunter for who he actually is. But that's later. At the time, Hunter was going to a nearby gym that was just nearby, just by the house. But the one day, he and his girlfriend were at the house, and Hunter decided he was going to go grab some groceries because he could have used the demon magic, but he felt he wanted to go out. He wanted to stretch his legs a little, go outside, get some fresh air. And when he did so, he went out, he got his groceries, he drove back to the house, and yes, Hunter does have a car. I don't think anybody asks if Hunter has a car because I've mentioned it several times. But Hunter
Yes, you
does
have. Nope.
does have his own car that he handmade. Well, not handmade. What Hunter has is a 2022 Chevy Camaro. What's the model I'm thinking of? Not Super Sport, because I stopped making Super Sports. God, what am I thinking of?
Oh, hello, Pringles.
Essentially the highest tier Camaro at
How's
the
it going?
time for 2022. Hunter custom tuned it, whether it was mechanically or magically. He did both. Which is another reason why Hunter does know how to use machines and technology, just not to the point of his brother. But Hunter ended up making his own car, and basically it was called Hell's
You
Gates,
don't mean to be that halftime, but could be anything.
which that's what it was called at the time. Hunter renamed it because he realized that's a better name for his fucking house than it was a fucking car. Go figure. But, and again, mind my language, I'm still working on that. But Hunter, we went out for the groceries, he was on his way back, and number one, the front door was busted open. Someone had broken into the house. But it wasn't just a burglary. It was someone who had secretly was on Hunter's case for a few months and was hoping that Hunter would be there to kill him. But he attacked at the wrong time, and he ended up killing Hunter's first girlfriend. But by the time Hunter got there was no one to be found. Which is why another case scenario of why Hunter rarely trusts anybody. And when he does, he really shows that he trusts you. In Tyler's case, Hunter trusts Tyler the absolute most out of any of his friends. Addie obviously being related to Hunter, that kind of comes as a given. But as for like Sonic Master, Zombie, or Pringles,
Hello.
Hunter does not trust them. Yet. Maybe someday, but the only reason Hunter has any sort of trust towards Metal, aka Sonic Master, is simply because of Addie. Yes, we saw you wave for the third time. We see you. But
Wave again.
no,
3, sucker.
anyway, so
Ah, stop it.
I got to the point where Hunter was forced to live alone, and he wouldn't find really any friends until about the year 2024, 2023, which is where all of them come through. I will get to the history of me and him here in a second, because he hates when I mention it, and he knows I do. Exactly. He wants to punch me right now. But to be fair, you should know that day was worth it, because if that day never happened, we wouldn't be friends, and you know it. But anyway, so Hunter would go long several years going through a aching, lethal heart disease with no cure, except to be removed by the person who applied it in the first place. At least that's what we thought, until Future Hunter basically Tony Starked his ass and fucking made a cure to outpace the disease. Basically on some fucking Deadpool shit. But we'll get to that later. Because Future Hunter is his own being, is his own character. They're very similar, but Future Hunter has gone through a lot more. Well, shit. But it got to the point where, in the very first time Hunter got to meet friends, it was Tyler Sunset. And now, technically, this can be said both IRL as well for the character. Obviously, Hunter meeting Tyler is different circumstances. The way I met Tyler as a person was here in VR chat in Night Shift 4, where he was there just to hang out like he normally does, and Night Shift 4 at the time, and still is, my favorite game. I just so happened to have ran into him, and we did a couple matches with a whole bunch of other people. Except, I'm not going to ask. I'm going to assume he's away from his headset for a moment. But
Yes.
I got to a point where Tyler Sunset, in his own words, said that Nightmare Foxy as a character is not that bad to deal with. And in most circumstances, he's correct. Nightmare Foxy is a very easy character to deal with, if you know who's playing him.
That's for sure.
Because Nightmare Foxy works very simplistically. He can go to either doorway, either hallway, and either doorway he can get into your closet. The only way he can actually get into the closet is via the child, whatever you want to call them, brat, piece of shit, I don't care. If they're not looking directly at the closet. So, let's say the kid is away from the bed and is looking at the closet. Even if I am at either door, I cannot get into the closet. Only way Foxy can get in is if you are not looking straight forward, or just you're at the other door. So, let's say I'm at right door, kid goes to left door, I can get in. Or if they're looking at the bed, I can get in. Anything else, Foxy's trapped. So Foxy is a very easy character to keep out of the closet. Not only that, the very audible footsteps he makes, making his way towards each door, is also hard to miss. But I had gotten to a point, before I had met him, I'd been practicing, because Foxy is my favorite character, always has been, potentially always will be. Mangle is a close second, so is Lulbin and Roxanne. Though out of all the characters that I love the most, mainly because of his obscurity, is, of course, by no surprise, Twisted Wolf. Twisted Wolf is one of my favorite animatronics, and yet so few people even know who he is. But it got to the point where I had mastered Foxy for basically 90% of the players who play as the child. For 90% of the people I went up against, I would get into that closet 90% of the time. And when I say 90% of the time, I mean specifically I would get into the closet 90% of the time against 100% of the time against 90% of the players at 12 a.m.
Yikes.
And the only night I could not do this on was on night 1, when you're only allowed to attack at 2 a.m.
Double damn.
So, Tyler, not knowing this, and again, I don't blame him for not knowing, we had just met, decided to be the kid about 3 to 4 times in a row. And I decided to be Foxy 3 to 4 times in a row. And the thing is, he was still getting adjusted on how to deal with Foxy, but he understood the mechanics, he understood the concept. What he didn't expect is for me to get in his closet within the first 10 seconds of the match and instantly kill him. 3 to 4 times in a row.
Wowzers.
Of which, to this day, here's the worst part. To this day, he does not want to be the child in Night Shift 4 when I am in the room.
That's true. That's actually
A lot of
very
the people
true.
here have seen that Tyler does not be the child when I am being Foxy.
That's actually very true. Like he
Isn't that
will
right,
not
Tyler?
Play as the goddamn child at all anymore.
At the fact that, yes, screw you too, buddy, screw you too. But, again, Tyler, he understood the mechanics for Foxy, and I simply said, yeah, screw that, and proceeded to make him pay. Of which, sure, I may or may not have given him post-traumatic stress disorder of Foxy. That may or may not have been a thing I did. Whether it's Grim Foxy, Nightmare Foxy, regular Foxy, any Foxy. Will you stop trying to freeze
Don't
Wally?
do that. No, how dare you? That
He'll
was
live.
Wally!
But-
No, you
Okay.
bastard!
look. He'll wake up. See?
But anyway,
He's fine.
so,
Anyway.
but Tyler is also the reason why I know any of the other people here. Because he essentially told me about the recordings he was doing, and he decided one day maybe I should try joining, which I did, and I haven't gone back since. So at that time, I had gained, let's see, Pringles, Sonic, Addy, Tyler, you, and Dread and Dino. Dread and Dino. Can't forget Dino.
Yeah, and Dino.
And an occasional Homelander. Don't forget him too. He's there.
Oh, yeah.
We don't talk about him.
Refuses
And
to
your
get on
sister.
quick.
And your sister.
And
No,
her
me and her
baby
have
sister.
me and her were friends the moment I met him. We
Ah.
had met a lot
So-
sooner.
Oh wait, you wanna know what I realized? Tyler's also why I met all of you.
That reminds
Oh,
me, 'cause I
yeah.
think I bumped into you before I met you, which was even ironic, which is even funnier.
And I
So
met
the
him
backstory
through
about that,
Dino.
we literally bumped heads in literal. What was
That
it? the
sounds
Joy of
about right.
Creation?
But
Yes,
either way,
and Bonnie.
so Hunter, on the day of literally scaring the hell out of Tyler, ended up gaining about 7 new friends, of which, in the role play, did not show his emotions towards. Tyler, he slightly showed emotions towards. Slightly.
Debatable.
Like I said, slightly. But
Let's
as
see.
the videos went on, Hunter gained basically 0 trust for anybody else until he realized who Addy actually was, but gained more and more trust towards him, mainly because at the time me and him are still probably the closest of friends between all of us. No offense. No offense.
It's
I just-
fine.
I've just
take
known
no
him the
offense
longest.
to that. I take no offense on that.
I've just known him the longest.
Why did you fold, Pringles? Why'd you fold?
Wake up, my brother.
But
wake up.
Either way,
He
Let me
folded literally
sleep
as
in
you
cup.
said, like you trusted friends with just me. Like he just folded in.
Got it.
but yeah.
Now calm down.
So Hunter as a character is still technically progressing, but nowadays Hunter has a new girlfriend, which is true to me IRL. I do have a new girlfriend that I am seeing. Well, not seeing. Let's just make that specific. Sonic knows who she is because, for God's sakes, every now and then she joins. And I'm surprised she's actually.
She's
wasn't-
online right now.
I mean, if you want, you can invite her, but that's up to you.
Yeah, let's try.
I don't know how she'll do with a YouTube recording. I think we'll figure that out here in a minute. But
We definitely will.
But either way,
Just to end that.
the main point that I'm getting at is that as the years went on, Hunter progressed as a person, slowly gaining more and more trust towards everybody else. And why, actually, now that I think, why the hell are you Wally?
Out of everything obvious in the room, the fact that they're like a moth over here, a metal Terminator that can speak the English
One.
language.
Wow,
True fact.
that's actually
True fact.
that's
It's true.
what you
That
That is,
mean.
hey, if
It's
you're gonna
true.
call that an insult, you should be ashamed of yourself for being called a Terminator. You should be fucking
Terminator's
grateful.
cool.
You should be
I mean, it
grateful.
is-
At least he didn't
Don't
call you a.
look at me like
At least he
that.
didn't call you a tin can.
Yeah.
I actually did call him a tin can one time.
Exactly.
Just one time.
But either way, so
I'd rather
now
call him
I feel
Scrap
it's
and
about time
Mistake.
we get to the character that basically
I will
none of these
fucking kill
people
you.
really know anything about until right now, which is Future Hunter. So Future Hunter went through the majority of what Hunter went through. Now, a lot of the things that present Hunter goes through will be viewed in hers. Will you hold still?
My hand tracking, I
No.
blame it.
Oh, right, hand tracking. But a lot of Hunter's present experiences will be viewed on her channel. Future Hunter didn't experience any of those events that happened in her series. Future Hunter was able to forcibly remove the demon out of him. And as for the heart disease, Hunter had to essentially make a self-made cure, even though it can still have a chance of killing him if he overexhausts himself, which he does a lot, like more than he should. But Hunter is not... Now, another thing I'm going to point out, and a lot of these people made the error of thinking when I first said he was a demigod. For the love of Christ, no, Hunter's not immortal. Hunter was never meant to
I
be
never
immortal.
asked that.
No, this son of a bitch next to you kept
Okay.
thinking Hunter was immortal.
First of all,
Awesome.
I already
Demigods half
the
human,
thing
half
is, one of
god.
my old OCs was a demigod, and I knew the limitations there. Trust me, like I knew the
But-
limitations.
But yeah,
I
Hunter
just
is
saying
not
that.
immortal. Is he extremely durable? Yes. Unkillable? No. Because Hunter has been killed on several occasions when he was younger. And obviously that's not mentioning the heart disease.
Bingo.
So, Hunter has died multiple times. In fact, he's even died in her series. The present Hunter has died in her series.
Hmm?
I think it was just the one time, wasn't it? I think.
Yes, it's
Yeah,
it
just
was
the one
the
time.
hard, yeah, it was the hard
Freaking
mission
Yes.
one
where,
time. Sun was
Yeah.
like staring. Oh, no, I think it was Moon. It was Sun Moon, and we were at the entrance of the school, and like
And-
Sun and Moon was
Oh
Yes.
yeah, it
staring
was a
down
one-time
at
thing.
you.
Yeah, it was a one-time.
Yeah, it was a one-time thing. But it did take a long period because that was also during the time when we were getting the Dio stuff involved in her series. If you all
Which
recall,
I
because Hunter went on
hated
a
so goddamn much.
Which Hunter went on a
Jesus.
hiatus, and that's why it was only Shatter and Crystal in those videos and not Hunter, because he was kind of, dead. He was kind of dead.
Yeah.
But at the same time, Future Hunter made a minor fix to the disease. Again, it's not a cure. It is a minor fix to help him try to live longer and outlast it. Again, it still kills him. It just takes longer to kill him. Which essentially he made it more painful on himself, but he's able to live longer because of it. So it's a double-edged sword. No, I'm just letting you know. It's a double-edged sword that he essentially placed upon himself. But
Yippee.
Future Hunter ends up going through several set of wars. While again, Future Hunter does in her series, the Future Hunter does know them, but not at the point that Present Hunter does. Future Hunter knows them, but not to that degree. Future Hunter only knows them because, again, Addie is his sister. And that's the only reason. In this case, Present Hunter actually made, well, maybe not friends, but he made allies with everyone besides Addie and Tyler. Don't give me that look, Pringles. But
He can't give you no other look. He's Wally for crying out loud.
that's better.
He
Yeah,
can't
but
give you other look.
Future Hunter was a lone wolf. That was his personality, and it only progressively got worse. Hunter, on his own, essentially went to war several times, whether it was, intergalactic, because yes, Hunter can travel through space, he can breathe in space. And fucking props of a demigod. He doesn't technically need to breathe, although it's very handy. But Hunter has gone through several wars, whether it was man-made wars, because boy oh boy, we sure got a lot of those.
One too many. As if we can't
The
beg
time.
anyone to not do anything stupid.
That'd be asking for too much. But either way, Hunter essentially got severe battle damage, and I've already explained the significance of the battle damage to Tyler and I believe Sonic Master. But something tells me that this son of a bitch doesn't remember half of it.
That's true.
Why am I not surprised? But, so Future Hunter,
Be.
during his wars, would end up losing his left arm, his entire left arm, several fingers on his right hand, missing chunks out of his wings, because yes, Hunter has wings, it just so happens that this avatar doesn't fucking have any. But Hunter does have wings. But he was missing several chunks of his wings, had chunks ripped out of his right ear, like actual bite marks. Obviously, like I said, Hunter is half blind in his right eye. Except it did not help, because eventually Hunter was able to find a cure to try to, regain his sight in his right eye in the future. Except during one of the wars, he eventually had his right eye ripped out of his head. So much for that. Because screw having 20/20 vision. You don't need that. It's overrated.
Exactly.
So,
Right.
and that's not including the fact he's also missing half of his right leg. Basically, he is missing from the knee down. So obviously, there we go. There we go.
Hello.
No, I lost tracking for a second. I forgot to turn the light in my room. My apologies. But so
Okay.
shut it. But Hunter's future self went through more pain, as well as the fact that he also ended up having Luna killed in front of him. Not like his previous girlfriend, because yes, spoiler alert, Luna from fucking Hell of a Boss is Hunter's girlfriend in her series. And this son of a bitch doesn't appreciate it because of reasons.
One of my problems is I simp, okay? And I have a big problem.
like I said,
I'm working
because
on
of
it.
reasons.
worry, we're
Like
all
I
the
said,
same
because of
boat.
reasons. We're
Do
just
I even
gonna
have to mention
we're
your
just gonna leave it at reasons. Look, we get it. Yes, well, we'll get to her in a second.
No.
Yeah, please do.
No.
Listen. If
What
I'm gonna
you
mention
doing?
his, listen, Addie. If I'm gonna mention his,
No, all I said was we're on the same boat. I said I wasn't gonna mention it.
but either
I
way,
just can't believe this.
so Future Hunter ends up going into a dark depression, worse than anyone had ever seen, including him, who Future Hunter is technically friends with. He did still gain a minor trust towards Tyler, just not as much. I'm going to make that very clear, just not as much trust, because again, the only reason they met is because of her. Well, in this case, it's different. Hunter kind of ran into you guys. But Future Hunter ended up going into a dark depression that is arguably the worst anyone could really say. I swear to God, that Wally avatar is so fucking distracting. because I just look in the
Oh,
corner of
wrinkles.
my eye.
I got this. I got this. Hold on.
You got into the avatars you can
Please
try
don't
on
do
Just
for the split
go
second?
to your normal Abby Pringles, for the love of God.
I'm about to
Die,
freaking summon this and use
Wally.
the beam. And by the way, it's
Don't.
the big beam, by the
Please,
way.
please don't. But
Change
either way,
now.
so either way,
Setting
obviously, Hunter's girlfriend at the moment is Luna, and
Right.
we're not. I
Oh,
mean,
I
I
love
could
her, yes.
kind of get into discussions of who she's in relations with. Honestly, I don't know if it's better or worse. And maybe even, I'm not sure. And in the recent episodes, Hunter has poked fun at her for this. And I will potentially continue. I'll think about it. But her
Yeah,
relationship
exactly.
is
Call it.
her relationship in English. Her relationship is with, if I recall, it's Shin Todoroki, right? Shin's his first name, right? Shin Todoroki, or no,
Wait, no, it's
Shoto
just
Todoroki.
Todoroki.
No,
Yeah, you got it
it's
right.
Shoto Todoroki.
But everyone calls him Todoroki because it's just his.
Well, yeah,
the
but if you're
Todoroki
going
name.
based off his actual name, it's Shoto Todoroki. That's his actual
Yes.
full name.
Yeah.
Unless he has a middle name, but I don't fucking know of.
I don't think he has a middle name, not from what I know.
Yeah, no, I
I'm a
don't
big
think
fan of the
so.
show.
But
noticed it.
Shoto
I know.
Todoroki is the one she is in relations with. Which I don't mind.
No, wait, wasn't it Toyo Todoroki, not Shoto Todoroki?
Yeah,
Oh, wait,
Toyo.
you're talking about the
Toyo.
freaking all fire one. My
It's son of
bad.
Dabi.
She's talking about the white one, white haired.
Which
Right
Todoroki did you
Frick.
think?
Season 5.
I was thinking of the freaking
Toyo.
red and the white, not the all
White
white
hair.
haired.
Season 5 Dabi.
Right
to be
here.
specific.
Oh,
Yeah,
that
Dabi, that's what
Todoroki?
everyone calls him by a villain name.
Yeah.
But his
Yeah.
Toyo
I
does.
was thinking of the I was thinking of the other. I was thinking of
I was
Shoto
about to say,
Todoroki.
you're
So me and you were
Zombie
both
wears
fucked.
it most.
Hair.
Zombie wears it most of the time because he got
That's
the avatar.
Todoroki?
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah,
the white
that's
haired
Todoroki.
guy
He
who
did
literally
in the
like
alley.
stinks.
That ain't the
That was
Todoroki I was
Zombie.
fucking thinking
Yeah,
of.
yeah.
That's not the
Yeah,
fucking
no.
Todoroki I was thinking of.
Yeah, no,
I'm
that-
glad
here,
to see
here,
I'm
I
not
have
the only
the
one who
way-
was.
Here, hold on,
Time
hold on.
because he
I have
got
the
it.
Abby. Hold on, let me pull it up for you.
But either way,
Ah,
but either way,
Hold on, right here. See? If it loads the fucking.
Why do you have to
Give
do
me a
that?
minute,
damn
give me a minute,
long.
give me a minute,
Fuck.
One,
Ruined
he
it.
doesn't have the scars.
Wait,
Hey,
give me
give him a
minute, give me
second.
minute,
No, that's the
give me a
one
minute,
thing-
Give me a minute.
But
that
it's
one.
general character.
There he is. Oh no! It's
can I just point something out? Why
Yes.
is it that animes always seem to go with characters that have similar names? Because you've got that Todoroki, and then you've got the one I was thinking of, which is Shoto Todoroki from MHA.
That was the younger brother, if I recall correctly. The younger
Yeah,
brother,
it was
the
a
little
younger
one out.
bird.
Now.
pretty much.
The one with white hair is basically the older brother.
Right.
Okay.
And the thing
that
is,
makes
the
more
other one you're
sense.
thinking of has the split.
Patty.
You know, his power is just split in half. You
Yes,
got one
that-
hand
yes,
on
I
one
know.
hand.
I know. Why do you think I came up with the certain insults I did? Because I thought you were with Shoto Todoroki and not this one.
Yeah.
So my dumb ass was
I was not with
my ass
Shoto.
Hunter doesn't even know who you're fucking with. He thought you were with a different Todoroki. That's crazy.
Nah, crazy.
But either way,
Crazy.
moving on. What? Really?
Don't ask
Oh,
questions.
no.
Just
He's
continue.
here.
Don't
Addy,
ask.
we have to run.
No,
Stop
don't.
it.
But
You're lucky I
It-
didn't pull out the stand, okay? Just be
Anyways,
grateful
continue,
I didn't
Hunter.
pull it out.
either way, that's mostly it for my character, at least to this point.
Yes.
And it was just something I wanted to get off my chest. Yes, headset. I know you're about to die, but can you maybe fuck off for a second? Just saying.
Warning, your headset's going to die.
Shut
and
up.
Fuck you in seconds.
No, don't die. Sorry.
Nah, don't worry. I have a way of
Do it.
fixing this. Do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do.
Like the joke though? Like
Hang on.
no. Oh man. I'm dying.
There we go.
Oh,
That's
shit.
better.
Funny
Okay,
dying.
now that I have the headset plugged in, we are good. But that's
Okay.
all I wanted to get off my chest. Now, tomorrow I have to work. But I also do potentially plan on making another recording. Because originally I was going to make this a series, but I guess I took not nearly as long as I thought it would to explain Hunter as a character. I was expecting it to be multiple parts.
Yeah.
But my main thing is maybe someday I'll actually reenact what the events are supposed to look like. I don't know if I have the time and or the patience for that.
Oh yeah.
But I may make a recording tomorrow of me just outright either playing VR chat with whoever's on.
Wait, no, we have a recording.
Well,
Hurry,
yeah, we have
But-
recording. We have recording tomorrow.
Well, but we record at different times though. That's the thing. I wouldn't be recording at the exact same time. Either I could do it before or after her recording. Not only that, I'm the one who's doing the recordings from now on because of the fact that her storage is wanting to have issues.
Well, frick.
Questionable.
Yes.
Her storage is currently questioning its life choices. We'll put it that way.
Bingo.
Yes.
But anyway,
Saying, fuck you.
Yep. Watch it.
Well,
Look, I
I
get.
swear, I
Listen,
need to
I get that I've said it a lot, but you can at least tone it down a little.
We definitely need to remove his voice box.
What the? Why? Why
Anyway.
do you do
I
this?
would-
Why?
I would take
This
her
is
voice
Hunter.
box
I'm
privilege.
gonna be signing off for
No.
tonight. I will try to get this posted tonight, probably whenever it gets posted. Beats me.
Nothing wrong with
Sometime.
that. Goodbye.
Please shut the fuck up. Please.
Why?
Because
What
I'm.
did I-
Thank
Why
you.
do you?
Thank you.
Addy, I'm getting bullied. That doesn't.
All right,
help
I'm
me.
getting outta here.
Literally, if I recall correctly,
I will see you
can't
guys
even
in the
see
next
this.
video. Take care.
Yeah. Yeah.